Ontario 613 here, just back from the range. Was at the range all day in Ottawa here. We had freezing rain and it was about -5 out. So we were thinking it would be a good time to head out to the range because it should be pretty much abandoned. When we got there, it wasn't the case. There was actually a lot of people who must have the same idea as us, and it was pretty busy for a freezing rain, and the roads were just crap. And well, it says something about Canadian firearm enthusiasts. Freezing rain, and it won't stop them. They'll come out to the range anyways. Anyways, today we're talking about the Archangel AA922 magazine. At this point, I've probably shot about, I don't know, just over 1,000 rounds in each one of them. Interesting magazine. It looks like a MP5 9mm banana mag, but it's for 22 long rifle. And it gives a more tactical kind of look to your 1022 if you've geared it out that way. If it's stock, it still looks really good stock, to be honest. I've shot them through a stock one. It looks very sleek. But anyways, they're a very nice looking magazine. I didn't have tons of experience with Archangel previous to these magazines. These were pretty much the first purchase that I bought from Archangel. Actually, I bought it from highcalservices.com out west, Western Canada. But anyways, out of the box when I first got them, they were running pretty sloppy. I won't lie about it. Failure to feed. They wouldn't get picked up and chambered properly. There was quite a bit of problems with them. That was brand new out of the box. So I said to myself, they need a break-in period. Let's do about 300 rounds and see how they do. After about 300 rounds, they were somewhat better. But I've noticed where the molding was on the magazine, basically where the feed path would be, it was pretty rough. The molding could have been a lot more refined. So I mean, it wasn't flash either. It was actually just really not the greatest molding. So on one of these magazines, I've started to modify it just a little bit after having some experience running them. And I've taken a file and I've smoothed out basically where the feed lip is. And also these have a retaining spring that somewhat, I mean, it sort of acts like a pseudo interrupter, I guess. And supposed to stop the bullets from nosediving into the magazine, which seems to be a problem here and there with these magazines. So anyways, I've modified one, took it down, oiled it, whatnot, and they seem to be after about 1,000 rounds. I mean, after 600 I noticed a difference, but definitely after 1,000 rounds and some cleaning and a little bit of fitting on this one here, I noticed that the reliability definitely got a lot better. Definitely filing away where the bullet makes contact and traverses was definitely something that helped. As far as other magazines I've used comparative to this, I've used the Butler Creek, the standard Ruger magazine that we've all used, the 10 rounder. And to be honest, nothing really beats the reliability of the 10 rounder. And I know that's not what you want to hear, and you want a cool looking magazine, you want a tactical cool, or maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, unbiasedly, like it or not, the 10 round magazine, stock OEM magazine, is definitely hands down the most reliable. Butler Creek is pretty reliable. I've seen guys have great days with them. I've seen guys have bad days with them. Generally, there's fewer users of the Archangel mag. I've maybe bumped into 2 or 3, so that might tell you something as well. But at the end of the day, I like the way they look. This is generation 2, by the way. Some people might go, oh, there's 3 generations. Well, I can tell by its construction, it's not generation 1. And I bought these prior to anyone talking about the release of Generation 3, so these have to be Generation 2s. I never shot Generation 1. I heard they were just crap. Generation 2, I find they're okay. They seem to need a long period to break in, like I had mentioned. But after doing some modifications, some cleaning, a little bit of polishing, a little bit of fitting, you know, we're talking about 25 minutes of work, it seems to be a lot more reliable. So my opinion has definitely changed. Something I would definitely mention with these magazines, or even any high capacity magazines for the 22 long rifle, is in my experience on anything that's semi-automatic using a high capacity magazine, they seem to prefer a round nose. And I use a lead round nose. It could be a copper jacketed round nose. I just find the round nose seems to aid with the operation. It just seems to run smoother. For what I run, I generally run CCI standard velocity. It's very available in Canada here. I also run Thunderbolt, very cheap round. It tends to cycle through it quite nicely. I also tend to run CCI Blazer, and for some reason I love the Blazer. If I can find it, I will buy Blazer. And generally, even in Canada, where we have a lot of selection of 22 LR, I'm not trying to rub it in, but we have a lot of selection of 22 LR, and getting the CCI Blazer is always hard to get. It's one of those things when it comes in, they buy it, and I don't know why, but it's quite popular up here. But generally speaking, I find going to a specialty round like the CCI Stinger, it tends to run fine. It doesn't seem to be a huge difference between the two, but I just find my 1022 digests the round nose 22 LR a lot better than the hollow points. And by the way, do not run Winchester white box hollow tip through this. Don't even waste your time. I do not like the Winchester cheapo 333 or 555 combo packs. It's absolute garbage. They just don't run properly, period. They're poor quality. The bullets aren't even seated properly. You can move them around with your fingers. Save yourself the time. If it's all you can buy, I understand. Buy that white box, but otherwise stick to a different brand. They're just the worst 22 I've ever seen. And when I did run white box through these, I was having a failure rate of every 3 rounds. It was disgusting. Can't say enough how I stay away from those. At the range today, after doing some modifications, the seating of the bullet seems to be very important with these magazines. Some people would say, well, it's that way with all magazines. Listen, I've loaded a lot of magazines in my time. These are fussy. They need to have the round needs to be seated as far back into the lips as possible, and the spring has to be in the correct position. Not all these magazines are shipped with instruction manual, which shows you the spring. I actually found out that out through a forum, and I have a picture of it. And basically it shows you the correct position of where the spring should be located to basically the interrupter should be located to aid with proper function of the magazine. They also instruct you that if it's pinching or crimping or your rounds are getting tight in there, to lift up on it and just bend it slightly to the top, and that should rectify that. I've done all of the above. I've done everything possible other than taking a Dremel into these, and I don't intend to do that. There's a huge difference in my books between tweaking something or refining something and doing huge modifications. No one likes a magazine that can't keep up with their gun. It's as simple as that. It's not fun at the range. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for anyone. And there's nothing worse than sitting there, jerking around with your rifle while everyone else is just popping off rounds. It's embarrassing in a sense, I guess. But I mean, it's just more, you're there to shoot, not deal with feeding issues. And you want a magazine that's at least reliable enough that it's enjoyable when you go out and shoot at the range. As far as these go, it's been a long journey. I want to try some Generation 3s, and I might make an update video of that sometime, but at this point, I would rate them easily a 6 out of 10, and that's a fair grade for them. After they've been modified and break-in, I'll give them a 7.5, maybe an 8, after they've had some serious break-in time and you've taken some time to polish and file away here and there. On the cool factor, yeah, they're cool. They look great. They do bring a sleekness to your rifle, but that's not everything for everyone. If you want reliability, I will always say just go with the 10 round standard OEM magazine from Ruger. If you want the coolness, go for these. And some people say they don't like the Butler Creek because they're see-through or whatnot. You can simply spray paint them black, and they look almost just as tactical as these. Recently in the Canadian market, we have a new company called Battledyne Systems, and they have a new magazine out, and it looks like the AA922 magazine from Archangel with the sleeve on, but also I've heard bad reviews on it right off the bat. It's at Generation 1, and if Archangel took 3 generations to do this one properly, from what I hear is 3rd generation's good, then expect the Battledyne magazines to be very similar to that. It's going to take a few generations before it gets to a point where you can, at least it's enjoyable at the range, as far as reliability. And would you bring it to war against zombies or whatever your thing is? I wouldn't bring a rimfire to that for combat. Some people argue with me. But at the end of the day, rimfire is probably the best choice of firearms for the amount of ammo you can carry. And you know what? You can carry a lot of ammo, and the fact is, it doesn't have much muzzle climb, and you can have 101 reasons why you like 22s. I'm a big fan of 22s. I'm just saying, if I was to need this in a life or death situation, I would not choose the Archangel AA922. If I want a sleek-looking magazine at the range that gives me minimal issues after a break-in period, I would buy the AA922 magazine, or whatever it is. Anyways, the point being is, there's a lot of reviews of these online. A lot of people fail to mention what generation they are. I can tell you with about a 6-month period of usage on these. Don't expect the world from them. I would lean towards Butler Creek, but if you're willing to do the time to break them in, tweak them a little bit, I think you can get a pretty reliable magazine out of the Archangel AA922 magazine. And like I said, stay away from hollow points, stay away from the funky stuff, stick to a round nose. I prefer the lead. And other than that, I mean, they're a decent magazine. For the price point, they're a decent magazine, and I would at least give them a try and see how they work for you. I've tried them on about 5 or 6 different Rugers, and I've gotten similar results all the way through. Anyways, I'm gonna have some video of us shooting shooting with these magazines with a couple different types of ammo, and you can watch how the action works or any malfunctions I get. Come up to your own conclusions. Generally, most of the testing I'm doing at this time of the year is in well below zero weather, so keep that in mind as well. And at the end of the day, I would say give them a shot and see how they go for you. Alright guys, we've got the Archangel AA922 magazine right here. I have 2 of them. I have a modified one, which is the one without the tape on it, and then I have a factory standard one here. I've got about 10-15 rounds loaded in both ones, so we're going to just keep an eye on the action and see how they do. I've had a lot of trouble with these mags. I'm learning to load them properly. The bullets seem to want to be seated to the rear as much as possible, get any type of reliability out of them. So this is a non-biased operational review here of their performance. So here we'll start with the factory standard mag, and then I'll move on to the magazine that I've done some work to. So this is the CCI Stinger, going in 15 rounds. Like I said, Archangel AA922 magazine, generation 2. Failure to feed. And that's it. So 1 failure to feed off the factory standard magazine using the CCI Stinger. So now we're going to move on to the modified mag. Just had some fitting work done to it and some polishing. We'll see if that runs any better. So as you can see, guys, with a little bit of work on it, you can get these magazines to be a little bit more reliable. They are a bit of a pain. I haven't tried the Gen 3s. I hear great reviews on them. As for the Gen 2s, I'm still working on getting used to them. These mags have had less than 500 rounds through them, but I think I'm starting to get there. So I'm going to save a review for them when I've got about 1,000 rounds through both magazines. But for now, I'm still a work in progress with the Archangel 25 round AA922 magazine. Alright guys, so we're back here with the Archangel AA922 magazine, 25 round capacity. I'm shooting some CCI Stinger. Generally the hull points don't like high capacity magazines, so that's why I'm doing it. Currently I'm running the factory mag, having shot both earlier in the video. This one is 10 rounds factory mag, rapid fire, no cutting, no nothing. This is exactly what you see is what you get. So here we go. And there we go, guys. So that's 10 rounds, rapid fire, and it didn't jam whatsoever. It looks like with the work I'm doing on these mags, I'm getting broken in. My opinion is definitely changing. We're gonna have to see after 1,000 rounds. Anyways, Ontario 613 here, signing out.